Let's not have that happen again. Let's see what we can do about that.
Yeah, already a 1-up. They're already doing pretty good things. Rise, Nidalee being banned out, have seen the ban list every single time, as well as the other side. These really aren't any big bans coming out. Westrice does find his Jax to be banned once again. Didn't find that in the first one. They were like, yeah, you can play it. And then they weren't really wanting to deal with the split push teleport that he was bringing to the game, because it did give them the edge they needed when they needed it.
Yeah, and they originally banned Xin Zhao. Now they've seen Broken Shard on it, and they're like, oh, we can shut that down.
Right.
We can counter jungle that. We can go ahead and put pressure.
That's a good point.
And so they leave it through, and they're like, yeah, we'll just deal with that. We don't want to deal with Westrice's Jax. It's much more deadly.
So leaving the Vayne up here could be the Vayne again, but you can easily pick things that'll gap close and crush down a Vayne. So keeping an eye on compLexity Black and what they decide to do now with the Twitch ban coming out onto MASH. He's been playing very well. We heard Dominic give a shout out to Pat for his abilities in ganking, being in the right spot at the right time. Really, 1 or 2 times like that can equal a game. Sometimes it's small things that you're able to take off into the distance and run off and win. Sometimes it has to be one after the other and big things and then a turret. Curse Academy is working very good at just the small things and running with it.
Yeah, and they want the Thresh again. The small things coming up. K1 Pros,
right?
maybe.
Bubba Dub hasn't got that.
All 3 games. 4th game now. He's going to have that again. And now compLexity Black, they go with the Soraka again, who was banned game 1 and 2. Game 3 it was played by Prawley.
Right.
Not great success with that, but we're going to see if he can bring it up this time. Now they take Elise for Broken Shard and take that away from Pat, which is what he played the Xin Zhao into last time.
He does have his lead.
They may change it up. They may go for level 3 Elise with a Cocoon and go gank people. Or they could do the buddy system again, go top with Skittering Frenzy and push a turret. We saw it from them in game 2. It worked out pretty well.
Yeah, yep.
But it's just, these teams are just so similar. Wow. They're so similar in the way that they operate in the early game. Those first 8 minutes, they're like, let's just go for turrets. Let's just 2v1.
Yep.
And then that little hyper carry edge means that Curse Academy is a little ahead of the curve. But they're not going for it this time.
They are not. They actually go for the Eve with the Lee Sin being up. Broken Shard didn't have too good of a time on Eve due to the 2v1 switch and the chaos that it produced in the way that the lanes had to swap. Usually the 2v1, yeah, you soak up experience, but Broken Shard still had a little bit less. I have to see if Curse Academy has things in mind for Pat that allow him to soak up and keep that experience to stay on par with the levels of the game. We're seeing the Lulu that could be locked in. That safety for now a Mash Me Lucian coming in. Like we said before, Mash Me played Lucian Graves a bit against the team of VVV and both LMQ. So he's trying it out, still likes to play.
Yeah, Lucian and Caitlyn are both staples of AD carries right now. He's really good with those off-pick hyper carries like Vayne and Twitch, but he's still very, very good at lane bullying because of how good his mechanics are. So instead of hashtag Vayne mechanics can be Lucian mechanics this game.
Right.
Swap it on over because it's don't mash me through and through.
And each team has their own priorities. Like Rux getting Renekton in his last
pick. Well, that's
pick.
a last pick.
Yeah, come on. His favorite pick goes all the way to the last. Both teams have what they want in mind. They're saying, take it, because we'll take ours. Now it's going to be a Shyvana lock-in coming in. Now Westrice in the top lane is going to be grabbing that. We saw it in the jungle just yesterday as well. Like we said, not working out as well, but now in the top lane can soak up the gold Shyvana needs, the experience Shyvana needs to be a big drag.
In both of these teams, we see the top laner, mid laner, and support the same as the last game.
Yep.
Only differences are the junglers, and then there's Lucian and Caitlyn now. So you're going to have to see how that affects these teams and their playstyle. They can still pull off the same strategies that they've been doing, except that now they don't have the hyper carry to rely on Curse Academy. This is an early game team composition. Renekton, Lucian, a lot of bullying in the lane, and then Lulu is what will help them transition and give that little boost of power in the late game.
Well, according to last game, Curse Academy definitely had the 30-minute mark down pat.
Oh.
So if they're picking a 30-minute team, they can put that into play right away. Going for Broken, this last one is going to get them the spot in the relegation tournament, this best of 5. Although the first game was long, you could just see it. It tells a story of itself. Each game has been getting shorter. The teams are figuring each other out instantly throughout the laning phase and then trying to stop and then put their own twist on the game. Curse Academy has been coming out a little bit more on top than that in compLexity Black with the 2-1 so far.
And like Dominate said, he thinks that they have their number too.
Yeah.
Basically thought they showed all their cards early on compLexity Black.
Right.
Came out of the door very gung-ho, and now Curse Academy's like, no, we actually know what you're going to bring to the table, so we'll counter it. We'll play our own strategy, and we'll do it better.
And different things, different people we're kind of looking at to be the big players of this game. Obviously, Mashme coming up huge. Robert X. Lee with a pentakill in the game, a quadra-kill, and a Fed 2 penta in the end because the game was already over.
It still shows up on the scoreboard that way.
That it does. That's why you always sell that one item you didn't mean to buy at the end. And you're like, no, nobody saw that. I didn't buy this.
4 ohm wreckers.
So with this, obviously Curse Academy is riding so high right now, and the pressure on compLexity Black is definitely getting to them. This game is going to be one of the games they've been working for months, three months now, trying to get themselves in the right spot.
Yeah, and Curse Academy have been in the challenger scene for a very long time.
Yep.
West Rice, though, same story. He's been around the challenger scene forever. A lot of these guys, same with Robert. They're like, we want to be LCS teams. We want to be up there. And some of them are good enough. They're on that caliber. And now they're just standing in the way of each other's dreams.
Right.
But only one of them gets to have the good dream and the other one has a nightmare.
Somebody's going to move on.
Welcome to
See who wakes up all happy and sunshine after this one. 2-1 in favor of Curse Academy. Our 4th game now underway. Robert X. Lee. So you can see Pat. He's keeping good distance. Pat's going on to Evelyn this game. First time. Saw him playing a little bit of Lee Sin. Definitely diversifying his champion pool as he comes into this playoff match.
He's laughing. He doesn't even know that he's there. That'd be creepy if you could hear Evelyn's laugh.
No.
You couldn't see her.
No.
30 seconds.
You're just sitting around and you're just like, what is that sound? She's somewhere. She's somewhere.
It's like when they released the electrical Moo skin. And you could hear his laugh globally.
Could you?
First week. You're like,
right.
he's laughing.
That's right.
Make it stop. Here we have Spell Thief's Edge starting up on Bubba Dub. Bubba Dub likes to pull in tons of gold on the Spell Thieves and then quickly go over the Talisman of Ascension when he gets the chance. Just part of the way he likes to build it, but still keeps the gold generation in there. He knows what investment means.
K1 Pro. K1 Pro on the other side, he doesn't care. He's super greedy. He's going after himself there. He's like, no gold generation item.
He's like, I got $1. I'm spending it on myself.
Dollar store. Hit it up. No bank here.
Dude, dollar store rewards, that would be big.
Yeah, that's true.
Be huge. Not here, though. And we do have a pink being picked up, actually, by Broken Shard in the jungle, so it goes a little less, knowing his spiders will be nice and tank for him.
Bubba Dub's going to have to go all the way around. Go the long way, but are they going to head him off? Nah, no pass here.
Kind of works out. I mean, Robert X. Lee's going to get level 2, but he's also not trying to push it because he can't go any farther. They're going to cut right into him, and he hasn't even grabbed 1 CS, so you can actually see the consideration he's putting on to not pushing that lane against a Thresh so he can hook you one after the other.
He wants to use that headshot on somebody, not the creep, but that's always, you're always like, I want to hit him. I want to hit him. You got the Peacemaker, so you can push the lane fast.
Get a little close there.
And get level 2 sooner. Oh, it lands on Mash.
Very nice attack. Also, Robert actually putting himself towards the brush to get his headshot up faster. Very well played on the Caitlyn.
And now the fast push already coming out here from Soraka. So early.
This almost looked different the other time.
Yeah.
Saw Duosec getting the early Glitterlance and probably was level 1 at his turret. Now probably he's level 2, and it's a little flipped.
And then the Wraith steal.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Duosec got Wraith to give himself level 2 last game when they had Broken Shard and West Rice trying to counter jungle. Not this time, though. A lot of little extra things that happened last game that gave Curse Academy a great lead. Now it's on them to make those happen and not be delivered. Right now, trying to happen in the mid. There's the red buff on top of the Glitter Lance. Not a lot of armor they have to work with since they got the ability to power a Duosec, but that means that Pat's not really bringing too much damage.
Yeah, Soraka's extremely gankable, especially from somebody like Evelyn where you can't see her coming with the help of wards. You have to get pink wards down. You have to keep tabs on them in the jungle. That's exactly what Broken Shard is doing now. He's following him off on the side, making sure he doesn't revisit mid until Prawley has healed himself back up to a safe area. And oh, if he lands a cocoon.
Great play by Broken Shard. Really?
Look at the smite.
As offensive. Doesn't get the smite out. That was only for Pat, but that's knowledge. See if the compLexity Black uses this. It looked like it could have been an engage in a fight. We'll see. A little back and forth.
Knowledge
Black
is
shield
power.
for Peacemakers. Yes, it is.
He puts the black shield on to dodge the flay more than the hook. More often than like I've ever seen anybody else do. So even though it's telegraphed, a lot of times he'll eat the hook and then just...
It is an interesting play. I mean, this early, you might be able to turn it around. Oh, what a stinker. You might be able to turn it around because Thresh is going to close that gap, right? And he kind of wants to shield himself, too. So you're not pulling Lucian in because the AD carry is not coming close. So you almost can.
Oh, top.
No shields here, though. West tries burning. Chug the potion. Doesn't have one anymore. It was already wasted from Rux. And kind of what we used to see. The Renekton pushing someone in and then getting the jungle gank at 4-5.
The winning the lane there. Rux has gotten Renekton every single game of this series. They ban out the Rise in priority over that.
Right, that's true.
But this is what Rux climbed here with, and I've actually seen people ban out Renekton against him consistently, but that's not what compLexity Black has in mind for him.
LMQ sure banned it out.
Yes.
That was something that LMQ banned out almost every game. Broken Shard onto Pat now. This time he will show him some aggression, but he may be in a sticky situation. Probably runs in there, calling down the sky immediately as he hits out the star call. There's the cocoon. It may be enough, but Duosec has enough for a Whimsy, has enough for a shield, so they should just get out limping. Broken Shard doing good, forcing flashes, but that got pretty tight.
He had no mana left for that last little Glitter Lance. And yeah, LMQ banned it out against him, or they picked it for themselves for Ackerman. So they took it away from Rux pretty much every game.
Yep.
Yeah, I think they banned it second, but got it for themselves first. Just so they could have it. And just so it wasn't in Rux's hands, because that's extremely important. Because he just dominates the lane. His builds on it, he'll go like Tiamat, sometimes he'll go Brutalizer first.
Right.
He knows what he needs in the fight. And that is one of his strengths as a player, especially on Renekton.
All these times, he's so far had a bit of a lead, always going back for the pickaxe first. So that initial return to lane, he says, how much damage can I do? Oh, this much, slice and dice. And then you're pretty much dead. And
destroy the lane faster with the Cold to Meek ratios.
Yeah. He knows what he needs to do, like you said, and he will keep pursuing that goal. 8.2 to 7.7 as the gold is staying quite close. Game 1 and Game 2 really revolved around 200, 300 gold leads. Game 3 we just saw, Curse Academy broke away with a 5,000 gold lead almost immediately. It'll definitely tell the story of this game, who can grab that first gold lead over 1,000. A lot of engage in the bottom lane, but nothing that will come with a kill. First blood has already happened. That was top lane.
Yeah. Broken Shards here. Pat is off on the side. Bubba-Dub a little far forward. If a hook lands, that'd be a lot of damage. Oh, binding. Oh, that's unbroken.
He says, binding for the hook. That's good damage coming out. One more shot, but they can't get in. Very good mentality of MASH to stay calm in that. I would have flashed. I know I would have flashed for it.
Flashed for that? Just be like, I can heal.
So close. You got to know when you have the advantage, and Curse Academy knows that they can't pressure the fact that they're losing this lane right now. They get a good little bit of damage out of that, knowing that Broken Shard won't have a return gank, so they stay safe for now. Low mana, though, coming on to both of these guys, so they got to be careful.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too, is that even if they had dove,
Pat from the backside coming in very nicely here. He can't get help from his other team. You can see Robert pushing him out, just missing the Peacemaker. Great follow to him. Pat, there's a headshot coming from Robert X Lee now, but he kind of stutter steps it. Didn't get the shot off right away, so they don't follow up on the rest of the damage. Very chaotic. Every one of these early game fights, you think it's over, and then somebody else comes in. New challenger approaches, and another one coming in towards the Dragon. Broken Shard may get himself into a sticky situation here. His team is backing, but he's just trying to prevent things right now. He's got to be careful how far he prevents it, though.
Yeah, he's also a little down in levels. He needs to go back to farming his jungle, or else he's going to be even further behind. And down bottom, like you're talking about the flash there, Robert still had heal available to him. So it was good on him not to panic and heal Broken Shard. He's like, I'm flashing away, no need. It's good. If he had seen like a turret shot fly at him, maybe he would have healed him. Or he would have just been mean.
You can see Rux is now down in the mid lane. Looks like we could have something. He may start to head back. He actually does. He's going to head top. He sees the push from West Rice. He does not want to lose that experience. But both of these teams are going to start pushing each other into that Dragon objective. I thought it would have been now, but it looks like everybody had something else on their mind. That was Rux, or rather, that was MASH. And K1 Pro backing. He gets himself a BF Sword and a Sightstone. Both supports have that to start covering the bottom lane.
And this game is very different than the last ones we've seen, because now compLexity Black decide to play the laning phase against Curse Academy instead of lane swapping somewhere.
That's true.
They're like, we'll just play Caitlyn Lucian, that's fine. We're not going to do anything cheeky or tricky, and probably might be in trouble.
Duosec had just enough mana for one spell reel there, and he might be in a bad situation now because of it. Pat comes around the backside. This is going to be a red buff resync here. It's going to be refreshed off onto Broken Shard. He waits for it, gets himself that refresh. They also take down Duosec. Curse Academy trying to do that with just enough mana, and it leaves them for dead.
And now they're going to rotate over to the Dragon. Have Smite up for Broken Shard. Pat's dead. No chance of a contest here unless a lucky hook over the wall. We'll have to see.
compLexity Black, that one playing right into their hands. Curse Academy, they could have figured they are going to try and always make the initiations in those moves. compLexity Black's able to walk away with a Dragon off of an erroneous attack in mid lane from Curse Academy. Foiled nicely by Broken Shard and Prawley. See Prawley now picking up that blue buff. It's going to be very nice for Soraka to just be that mana battery and healer for her team.
And he's up in CS this game over Duosec. Duosec just got dropped by a great teleport into the mid lane from Westrice and also the collapse. So they have been keeping tabs on Pat, Duosec, making sure they can't go anywhere. Not really dealing with Rux in the top lane. He almost has twice the CS of Westrice.
Yeah, it's kind of a lot.
Westrice is very close to losing his turret. And boom. Just those last little glowing orbs. The caster minions did it. He was falling down to the ground, just throws out like the last shot.
Uh-oh.
He gets it.
Looks like Westrice might be falling down to the ground here as well. He will not have Dragon's Descent up by the time. They both ward the brush. They say, got him, no, I got him. It's all right, we'll both get him. Westrice taking quite a bit of damage as he's just trying to return what he can
Flash.
in the
He's looking for a
burnout.
place.
Very safe. Wait a minute. Broken Shard. He's going to be able to help here.
Oh.
Like I said, these fights don't end when you think they're over. There's a wild growth just for the wild growth of it. And it looks like Westrice will finally get out of this one. The glitter lands just on the backside of the Dragon Tail. And a good story at that.
And the wish from Prawley, giving him that little extra comfort. He was looking for a place to flash, because he knew he wasn't going to have Dragon's Descent. He was thinking, maybe I should dive turret and flash over the wall. But they're like, no. Duosec's coming up that way. Broken Shard's like, come to me. I can cocoon somebody. I can try to keep them off. And now Prawley, he gets to farm the mid lane and push the turret.
He's just manning up on that turret, taking shots to the face.
Duosec's roam not paying off. He's level 7 and level 9 of Prawley.
Bam.
So Prawley's max star call is going to take out those waves a little faster than Duosec can deal with.
So the gold lead is kept within that 1,000, but it's compLexity Black that starts to stretch it for themselves. 16.2 to 15.4, and one turret has been dropped across the map on either side. Looks like this bottom one's actually going to go down. They will not be able to present themselves in lane before Robert X. Lee and Bump It Up get the last few shots on. So a little more map control going over to compLexity Black. Not really going to pay off instantly since the Dragon is down and they can't go anywhere from that. But still, ground they need to gain.
So I'm sitting here, and like turrets are falling at 12 minutes. It's not that 4-minute turret anymore. And I'm looking around like, why is everybody
slow?
Why is everybody 9? Why is everybody level 9?
Is this Earth?
Yeah, it goes back and forth. And the fact that they're able to adjust their play style to play the slow game now, it's kind of like going from Earth to a normal game, right? Everybody's pushing turrets, everybody's flashing on cooldown. And now it's like, let's take a step back, let's take a breath, let's play some normals.
Sunday drive time.
Yeah, exactly.
No need to go fast.
And they're playing that game too.
They are.
compLexity Black, they're like, we are fine with this slow game because you don't have a hyper carry anymore.
Right. We were talking about that 30-minute mark for Curse. It's going to start stretching that. They only have about 15 minutes left. It's obviously going to spread a little bit past depending on how they decide to play it. We saw compLexity Black when they were almost 7,000 gold down in the previous game. They were still winning fights at their inhibitors. So it's just all in how you initiate the fight. If it's on your terms, it can go quite well.
Oh, Pat's
right
here.
now, this might be actually on the terms of Curse Academy. They wanted that bait to come in, but Broken Shard had the same sense in mind. And it looks like he comes to the bottom lane to thwart this off. Duosec and Prawley gonna go toe-to-toe for a quick second.
And there's a pink ward there. Duosec's trying to get it. He's going to take some damage for it, but it's worth the 30 gold.
A lot of damage, 10 to 8 in that mid lane, 110 CS to 89, trying to pick up from any lost slack in the top lane CS. Pat and Broken Shard back and forth, the shield comes out, Ace in the hole, gets all the way back to Pat as he threads the needle of MASH and K1 Pro. This could be a fight that Robert actually wants to stick on. Good ward in the brush will allow them
here
to
comes
focus.
Prawley.
The flash and hit, it's going to be the infuse coming down from Prawley, locks in the kill for his team, the kill secured, not the KX.
And now there's no dragon available, but they can continue to push in CS. and get themselves prepped for it. Play some wards, get control of the area back so you have item advantage when you do contest the dragon. And that should be the next move here for compLexity Black. We'll have to see what Curse Academy's answer is, because now they got their backs against the wall a little bit in the early game.
Just pushing off Westrice. He should be safe for this one. He has the ward below him, so he knows he can go a little bit harder, but he might drive Westrice right into that ward. Broken Shard to pick up his red. compLexity Black resetting themselves. Giving themselves a little bit to work with. Gonna start getting vision out, which they don't have much of yet. For them to push on to the aggressive side of Curse Academy, it would definitely put them in a dangerous spot. So right now, Robert X. Lee, you can see him turning back quite soon. Won't even go past River by himself.
Now Dragon's up in 50 seconds. Everybody prepping for it. If Rux can push this wave up, prevents Westrice from teleporting without losing a turret. Because Rux has so much wave clear, he'll probably clear this instantaneously with his Hydra. Just go right into a Call of the Meek Hydra and he'll be gone.
Yeah.
And then push and apply some pressure to that turret. That's pretty much the formula here. If he can do that and keep pressure on Westrice and stop him from leaving the lane in the early game where he can still duel him, then Dragon, there is still a possibility that Curse Academy can come out on top and get a turret for it.
Well, it's 20 seconds. Curse Academy actually looks to remove that pressure that compLexity Black has in the bottom lane here with this turret, but Robert X. Lee and Bubba returning at the right time. Teleport is up on Westrice as he goes back. I believe he gets himself a pink ward as well as a few health potions. No super buy from him there. And as the blue buff is transferred over, it looks like both teams are ready to jockey for Dragon. Here comes Rux.
Yeah, he's going to be involved in this fight. He's saying, I can't sit in that top lane because I know the TP is going to come from Westrice, but he goes anyway, and probably Lilap, Duosek
Very
is
nice focus. That's a lot of focus on to Probably. Duosek gonna be taken down. Oh, he gets the shield to safety.
Open
Broken
the door,
Shard
got him.
is waiting for the abilities to come on. He walks away then. Somehow Duosek is still alive in this chase, and it has caused compLexity Black to focus a little too harder on what they want. That was crazy for him to stay alive, and definitely a huge part. 2-4 now in this fight. compLexity Black did not pick up anything other than just Pat, but Broken Shard went down as well.
This is really risky. They're going to dance around it because both junglers are down. They have no smite.
Oh, a very nice Soul Shackle. Very nicely removed from every champion as well on the side of Curse Academy. Playing this one calm. Both teams again set up for Dragon.
Now, we see that again. We see they go straight after Duosek, but Pat Crawley's all over it, but Westrice flashes over the wall to get the help there and the ace in the hole in the back of the head.
Robert X. Lee, I believe that was a headshot that allowed him to get the Dragon there, but they do get a kill back. Dragon for a kill onto Bubba, and he used everything in Summoners to try and stay safe there. It worked out for the team. I'd say Dragon is a good win if they can hold this mid turret.
Yeah, especially the 16, 17-minute Dragon. But if they, like you said, if they hold the turret, then they're fine. If they don't, then it wasn't worth at all. And now 3K gold advantage. A little later than the one we saw last game. But it's funny, because the team that gets the first 3K gold advantage these games typically wins. It's just that tiny advantage, and then whoever can push it a little more.
Up to the top lane. Talking about pushing. Looks like Westrice is going to try to do what he can to get this lane up to the turret. Just below him, that pink ward somehow still lives from Rux. Which is a very nice job by keeping that alive.
And now he's going straight into Rux. Goes straight through him. Gonna clear the wave out almost instantaneously.
Oh, Westrice, he's getting a good amount of damage down on this one. You gotta watch that percent health coming off of Flame Breath every time you get punched in the face. It's a little bit more than you expect.
Yeah. Yeah, it gives you that percent HP shred that's magic damage, which is something that Rux hasn't built, hasn't even built any armor.
He does it though. He's like, forget your magic damage.
Yep.
I'm going damage just like the 80 carries do.
If an 80 carry has Hydra, probably reporting him after the game.
It's the Runans, remember? The Runan. That's what they want. So we see the Sheen coming out now for Mash. He'll be able to do some good damage solo to a turret, and that's what he gets in the bottom lane for himself right now. Quick Lightbringer to clear the wave. He is going to pull some attention, though. Probably, and we see Bubba doing kind of a buddy system roam so they can clear wards and make sure they are getting the control on the map that they need, and they do get it. Bubba very close to Mash right now, but I don't know if he can take him. Same thing's going on the top here. It's kind of just this slow outer turret takedown. Definitely different from when we see the 2v1 split pushes and everybody's now trying to focus in mid lane.
Yeah, and both junglers were up at top, which means that they can have the supports come middle.
Yeah.
and try to make something happen. But man, they're just mimicking each other's actions, just mirroring them across the line of scrimmage in the middle. That river is just a mirror right now. Look at the supports. It's like, oh, we're both mid, hanging out mid, trying to get ward coverage of the area while our AD carries go farm.
Good clear. Pat keeping himself a little bit safer on the rift, clearing out some pink wards. Robert actually still farming away. AD carries go equal in CS as Mashme gives himself a 2 CS lead with golems. It's going to be a pretty good fight between them. 1-0 and 1 on the ADs. Again, this is one of those games where things are quite close in a few of the lanes. The top lane, it's been distributed more towards Rux, but Prolly's making up for that in the mid lane with his 172 to 151. So that's kind of where we're evening out here. The gold lead is compLexity. Blacks, though, they're going to be having that 3,000 in their favor. Dragon should be got good 3 or 4 minutes away, so both teams have some time to work with and some opportunities to create here.
Yeah, and when we just saw the gold right there, Rux actually has a lot of gold. He has the most on his team. And like I said to Dominate, when it's not Mashme coming up big, it's typically Rux. That's why they're banning the Rise out every time, because he can hyper carry in the late game. But now he's just their early game rock on that Renekton that they can rely on. Because even when he's up against Jax, he's still doing pretty well. He killed Broken Shard under turret one game. He's constantly pushing, he's constantly CSing, the highest in the game in that regard. And now we can see what he transitioned that into as a Renekton, because now Shyvana's going to be pushing him in. We'll have to see. Oh, Mash going to Robert.
Holy Mashme indeed. Pulls it in. Oh, wait a minute. This is totally going to play in their favor. Pat throws off the W, but he has to put on the W to gain speed, which allows him to be dark bounded. Dark bounding.
Dark bounding.
But no, that was, I thought, was really a great bait by Mashme. Unfortunately, well played by compLexity Black. Well, I guess fortunately for them.
Yeah, the heal coming out there as well as the ultimate wish. But here comes Prolly from the side.
Prolly, they are completely running away from this. Broken Shard was actually hid by Prolly's coin there on the mini-map, but he is definitely ready to party, getting a nice Q damage down with the rest of the team. A few more hits. Robert X Lee gets hit in D-Path by the turret, but he's still got some shots on the rest of the team. Cannot get the last one in. Auto-attacked a minion there for a second. Not going to help him out get the kills, but still a very good push. And compLexity Black putting that one on the heads of Curse Academy.
Yeah, I thought it was just Prolly coming down, and I think maybe Curse Academy thought the same. Because then, boom, there it was, just Broken Shard right on top of it. Throws out the cocoon for the engagement. Dragon's not up for a minute.
Yep.
Somebody mistyped the timer.
Little early. It's okay. They got the teleport out of Westrise, so they do still have him down here, which will help because his lane is reset, so it's all good. But I think they have a little time.
That happens a lot, though, with the Dragon. You're kind of like, all right, it's up now. And it's like, actually, it's 6, not 5. And it happens so often.
It's better that they didn't throw anything at it, like Peacemaker, or if you have a Gragas barrel, you just let it sit there, and then you just frown at yourself.
Would have been like,
where'd it go?
Now they can at least just
Imagine if now they're there, and they're like, well, it's down, they took it.
Yeah.
We'll see. They didn't actually put down too much ward coverage on it, not giving it consideration. They do have 2 pink wards they could have used. Well, wait, who's coming back? No, yeah, Westrice is still out with the pink ward, so they could have used it. Mashme down to the bottom lane. One last kick on the turret's going to knock it right over, and they do have a bit of knowledge on that dragon. They're going to go back.
There we go. Coming back in, sweeping the wards out. There we go.
Right as rain, both teams now ready to dish it out. 5-3 here. They're looking for gold, and they're looking for kills. If they can get on the backside, the bag of chips would be even better if they could do it.
Mashme's on the wrong side.
That's all right. Maybe. We'll see. Because Rux is trying to do the same
He's going to go for the turret.
Very good push in the bottom lane. He should be able to knock that out. He has a huge wave behind that as well. So they give up the dragon now. compLexity Black grabs that. And Mashme is very pinched into a situation. 8 seconds to back. Looks like he'll be safe.
3, 2. He got him.
Oh, he gets him. Throws down the trap, but it's not going to be in range to hit it. He's going to use Broken Shard as a meat shield. The team is actually, getting the mid turret right now, and now to the second tier. So Mashme, with the little bit of mind games that compLexity Black took wholly into control and tried to get.
And The Lucian could have dueled the Caitlyn, so he needed help, and now they're late to the fight.
Wow, Rux himself is doing so much damage. They're trying to do the star call for Prolly, but it's not cutting through as much as they want yet. There's not that much magic damage to even follow up on the shred. Rux going very hard in the fight. There's not enough one focus coming in from compLexity Black to shut down Rux. He has been in a 3v1 and continues to go. Duosec can now join the fight with him hip to hip. They're going to get the Whimsy chase on, just used by Duosec the Glitter Lance to stop, but Rux with the right mind says back to mid, back to the push.
And it was Rux who identified it first to go mid. He was already on that tier 1 turret, taking it down when they were going after Mash Me. And then they start this one up. They down it before the fight starts. He pops his ultimate. There's a lot of consistent magic damage happening now from Rux, and he's slowing them all with that ultimate from Lulu. Bubba Dub can't get away. Shredded down very slowly. Magic damage coming in consistently. Prolly gets dropped, and then it's off on the side that Broken Shard wants to try to get Pat. He eventually does, but it costs him his own life as Rux is 3v1ing. Takes out Robert Exley with all that damage he's built.
Wow.
The fact that the Shyvana is not in that point where he has Blade of the Ruined King and that offensive item. And now we see Rux has an offensive item, a magic resist item, and a big Randuin Zone and HP/armor.
And
so he's huge.
Gotta take into consideration, it almost looked like they really couldn't kill him there. Well,
No.
that's what happens when you're a level ahead of everybody in the game. Some 3 levels ahead of everybody in the game. Right now, it's 2. So the Glitter, or the Soraka Star Call, they're hoping to shred everyone out. He's laughing at. He's already 2 levels above that. He's got HP, not worried about it. He's got Dominus HP to not worry about it. And like you said, he's already got his 3 items across the board: defense, attack, and magic resistance. We'll see Broken Shard getting a little too crazy here, and it looks like he will be taken down.
That's
Not
the
coming
jungler.
down the water spout on that one, and that is going to be Baron. Curse Academy, a huge swing in the game. I said if the gold lead didn't take more than a 3,000 gold lead, it's still anybody's, and Curse is starting to swing that back in their favor.
And now there's no smite available for compLexity Black, and the Baron is being done pretty quickly here. The Dominus is on for that extra damage. Here comes the TP from Westrise, but it might be too late.
He does have the Dragon's Descent, so they can get into the fight big time. A nice Wild Growth locks him up. Rux is in the fight, and he's very low. He was the one that didn't go down in the last fight. Now look what happens when the meat shield is gone. Duosec trying to get out one last shot.
Ace in the hole.
Robert Exley hooked around, and he gets the long-range kill from downtown, the triple kill, and the hat trick is going to provide Baron the 4th matchup in these teams in the best of 5, and compLexity Black does not look to be going home just yet.
So it was a great teleport, comes in at the right time. He vacuums them all in for the damage. Rux gets pushed back a little bit, so Robert Exley with the red buff is constantly doing damage and applying pressure, and Westrise is burning everybody. Picks it up, and that beautiful ace in the hole at the end to pick up the kill right into Thresh's soul.
Good 500 plus 575 damage on that to go through the shield as well. 80 carries are definitely in the spot to carry. And Robert X. Lee, with his pentakill the other game, I'm sure is feeling really good about what he's doing right now.
I want to see these 2 80 carries KDA throughout this series side by side, because they'll be great one game, then they'll be meh the next. Then they'll be great one game, then they'll be meh the next, and they just swap it. And like Robert X. Lee, he's 5-1-5. And then you see Mashme 2-2-1. They shut down each other every other game. It's incredible to watch. It's not like one-sided every game. And here's the thing too, is they got the Baron, so they got that boost in gold.
Without Broken Shard, but he still gets it.
Yeah, he came back up
Crazy.
at the right time. So 5 of their members have Baron after they ace Curse Academy, and they get some extra objective gold for themselves.
Wow. You saw in that fight how big of a factor Rux was, though.
Oh, yeah.
Going down so early, and compLexity Black was like, oh, this is our next target. Thank you, this is our next target.
Baron softened him up for him.
Yeah.
Took a lot of his HP down.
Very risky play. You may be a raid boss to the rest of compLexity Black, but Baron is still your daddy. 47.9 to 41.1. 4-3 in turrets. And compLexity Black making a very good push here to bring this into a game 5. Probably in the bottom lane, all that armor he gets. So nice. Keep him safe.
And probably realizes, standard Soraka build here, that you should get your Rylai's Crystal Scepter. Because Soraka doesn't have any slows or any peel for herself, so you just have to star call people and walk away while being moderately tanky and silencing. That's pretty much all you get in terms of escape/durability.
I like this, compLexity Black. They were kind of all around the map just now, but with Baron, push that mid lane. Why not get all that damage you can put on? Rux getting that. Oh, you didn't even really take a scratch, so you can see how big he is compared to an ace in the hole that just did 500 some damage to K1 Pro. There's 5 levels difference between that AD carry and the support. But now Rux in the front line. They're trying to throw down the trap, smash me. A little bit of damage for himself as both teams start to pepper on that damage.
Now clearing the wave out. It's going to be Prawley's duty. And Broken Shark gets hooked. Ooh, just a little too far forward. Robert X. Lee is really far too. And Rux is already below half. He's got cocooned.
This is the way they lost the last fight. Only a few more shots and Rux is going to be going down. Broken Shard with a lot of focus towards that. The wish comes out to keep compLexity Black in the base. And Curse Academy is now back to the fountain to find solace as the inhibitor goes down. compLexity Black feeling very good to just go ahead and face tank the second tier.
And they can definitely do it. Westrice, he has enough armor, has no magic resist item because that's not what he's worried about. He's worried about mash.
Got that heal, boom.
Rux's. Yeah, exactly. He's gonna get tanked up even more.
Didn't even happen.
Comes in from K1. I mean, from K1, but no follow-up.
It's really hard for these hooks to hit. They got Broken Shard, but they didn't want him because you can just repel out everything that comes at you. They just hooked down onto Prawley, but he can heal himself, and he's not going to die from the initial burst.
The duo sec takes a lot of damage.
Not many options as they come into the fight. They do try to go quickly onto Westrice. The Wild Growth has been thrown out as well. And it looks like they do get themselves to safety. Ace in the whole team being a bro, trying to get in front of that one. As it's all about the skill shots coming in right now. Dark Bindings, Volatile Spiders, Star Calls, and Peacemakers just being dodged out by Curse Academy.
And so probably didn't have a great game with Soraka in that last one, but this game, 1-1-12.
Yep.
Huge support for his team from the mid lane. The utility, hook on to Bubba Dub, nobody taking that up. So Super Minions pouring down the middle lane. Now they're coming from the top lane. Baron up compLexity Black.
compLexity Black does not want this game to go out in favor of Curse Academy. May have to leave the base one more time, but keeps their hopes alive for a Game 5 and making it into the promo relegation tournament. A lot of people thought with those games that Curse just took, the way they have taken their 2 so definitively, this game was going to be all in favor of them. But compLexity Black definitely had different things in mind, and they are playing it game for game. Doesn't matter what happened last game.
Yeah, not letting it affect their mentality, coming into it to win. Now we see compLexity Black are just sweeping the map. There's the dragon going over to them. They're going and testing that blue buff, seeing if they can get it for themselves, but no, it goes over to Curse Academy. So just picking them apart. I'm just looking at it now, and the Soraka is just really hard to deal with in a team fight, and especially in a sustained team fight, because they don't have a lot of burst damage on Curse Academy.
I'd say so.
Nobody's there to like bonk them with a LeBlanc, and now it's Glitter Lances, it's Lucian damage. We have some Eve hate spikes, and then just some Renekton really sustained type of damage. Probably's really good at that.
Probably's been everywhere, considering he is the only one in this game with full kill participation of either team. He has been able to make his mark and soak up everything he can. He did not have that Rabadon's last time, and it is wholly making a gigantic effect on these fights because you're going to Star Call that much more damage, shredding on top of multiplied AP. It's kind of nice. And the rest of your team coming in, obviously Westrice is going to love that hybrid damage shred that he's already getting to attack people with.
The 1-1-12, 100% kill participation. Yep. So somebody in the bottom lane engages, he's like, wish!
Yeah.
Don't even care if it healed you or not.
We saw Westrice got all the HP back on that second tier turret that he tanked out, and then they were just able to kind of hold out. That inhibitor's gone. They have the bottom one, but you can see with Westrice in the top lane, they have the teleport that is easily brought in if there's any trouble.
Again, Pat shows himself. Westrice is in the top lane with the TP. Rux has to answer again. Every game just seems to be just like that. Rux not taking TP, Westrice does. Now they have to deal with it.
This is where it becomes tough, Cyrene. Pinched into the base now. Rux can do whatever he wants, or rather Westrice on the backside against Rux right now.
He's proxying both waves so that there's more pressure on the map. The Super Minions will get there faster, and then Westrice can go ahead and flank from the back end and start the fight.
Already crushing down on the first Nexus turret. 2 Super Minions. Doesn't take much time for them to get that turret down to half. So you look at already, and Rux can't really even stop it. He went to the fountain and he's coming back from it, and that turret is going to be going down. Yeah, they will heal themselves, but they don't take much to go down. Curse Academy, a last-ditch effort to try and get safety to the team. The wild growth on K1 Pro, but
West Race in the back.
right now is done in defense as compLexity Black is mowing forward right now in bulldozer formation, taking the inhibitor turret. The inhibitor will be next.
Whoa!
Bends the bullet around, taking down Duosec with another very nice ace in the hole. That's going to be the inhibitor turret, and we are, ladies and gentlemen, going to a Game 5 as compLexity Black ties it up in the third place matchup.
It's a 7-1-5 Robert X. Lee, but it's also a 3-1-4 Rux. So even though they lost, Curse Academy still had a great player in that top lane, but he's not on a hyper carry. He's on that consistent rock for his team, which kept them in the game. But compLexity Black coming out on top. Robert X. Lee, again, having a great game. And both these AD carries are capable of stellar performances, and they just whip it out one after the other, game after the other. They just keep one-upping each other.
Coming into that game, we saw not the swap from the lanes. It was a little bit more evened out. We figured out that both teams obviously play a little different, and it seemed to favor compLexity Black when there's less chaos on the map overall. Then, when they start creating the chaos, when it's on their terms, they gained one of the biggest gold leads we've had in the game, as opposed to when, obviously, Curse ended it, and then they got the Nexus gold and the final kills. But having that and be able to extend the lead with the pressure that they had wasn't something they were able to do in their loss earlier. Curse always kept it, as I said, within about 300-400 gold. So gold, the huge factor here. Usually it is, but once it gets to 3,000, you can almost say one team just over has it.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the story. Every game in the series, whoever got over 3,000 gold started to run away with it because their styles are just very similar.
Yep.
And when you are basically playing the same minus that teleport little trick that Westrice has for himself, whoever's just got the more gold and more combat stats in the fight, typically going to come out on top with that one. And